The movie begins on a fast-moving train where we are introduced to Robert. Robert has hidden his real identity and is calmly reading a red-colored book. Suddenly, he notices a strange man sitting nearby. After a while, the man leaves his seat and walks toward another section of the train, and Robert quietly follows him. Robert finds the man's behavior extremely suspicious. As he starts talking to him, he realizes that something is seriously wrong. A little girl has been separated from her mother, and Robert suspects that this man is involved. It turns out that the man wanted revenge on his wife, so he had forcefully taken his own daughter with him. Robert immediately takes action. He brutally beats the man and his companions. Within seconds, all of them are lying on the floor helplessly. Robert then sits beside the man and tells him that he still has one chance to correct his mistake, otherwise the consequences will be very bad. The scene then shifts to Boston City, where the little girl's mother, Grace, is shown feeling extremely worried. Suddenly, she receives a call informing her that her daughter has been found. Grace rushes to the office and becomes emotional after seeing her daughter safe and sound. She is told that an unknown person safely left the child outside the office gate. In reality, after Robert's warning on the train, the girl's father became frightened and decided to send her back. Now the movie shows Robert's new life. He is working as a simple cab driver. From the outside, he appears to be an ordinary man, but in reality he possesses deadly and dangerous skills. One day, he picks up an elderly man named Sam. During the ride, Sam reveals that he was separated from his sister during childhood and has been searching for her ever since. Robert and Sam slowly develop a strong friendship. Sam tells Robert that in life, people should always stand beside those who treat them with kindness. Robert himself is a very kind-hearted person. He often listens to his passengers' problems and tries to help them whenever possible. One night, a badly injured girl gets into Robert's taxi. She is wounded and barely conscious. Instead of taking her home, Robert immediately drives her to the hospital. There, he learns that some criminals brutally abused and tortured her. Hearing this makes Robert furious. He directly storms into the criminals' hideout and brutally takes them down one by one. He breaks arms, legs, and destroys everyone in his path. Finally, he hands the last surviving criminal over to the police and tells him to confess all of his crimes honestly. But the story does not end there. The real boss of the gang kills his own man with a gunshot so that no secrets can be exposed. He then stages the scene to make it look like a suicide. Meanwhile, Grace works in a large office building. She is the same woman whose daughter Robert saved earlier. The little girl immediately recognizes Robert, but Grace still has no idea who he truly is. Robert quietly signals the child to stay silent. Later that night, when Robert returns home, he notices that the lights inside his house are turned on. He cautiously enters the house, only to discover his old friend Susan waiting for him. Susan and Robert previously worked together in an intelligence agency. Susan reminds Robert that it is his wife's birthday and tells him that perhaps he should return to his old life. However, Robert wants to stay away from his violent past. The next morning, Robert is seen cleaning the building wall because some mischievous kids had covered it with paint and graffiti. A young boy tells Robert that this is not his responsibility. Smiling calmly, Robert replies that if nobody takes responsibility, then nothing in life will ever improve. At the same time, Sam believes that an old family painting auction may help him reconnect with his lost sister. Because of this, he starts gathering old family photographs and evidence. Alongside all of this, investigation agencies begin looking into several mysterious incidents, and slowly the story starts turning into a massive and dangerous mission. On the other side, Sam feels deeply upset. He tells Robert that the judge did not even properly look at the evidence he presented. While getting emotional, Sam says that he misses his lost sister every single day. So many years have passed, but his hope still has not faded away. Robert comforts him and promises that he and his friend Susan will definitely help him. Meanwhile in Brussels, Susan returns to her hotel room. But as soon as she enters, two dangerous men force their way inside. First they demand money, and then they suddenly attack Susan. Since Susan was once an intelligence agent herself, she fights back for quite a while, but in the end the men brutally injure her. Back in Boston, Robert is painting a building wall while Miles helps him with the work. Robert praises Miles for his hard work and dedication. Just then, Robert receives a shocking phone call. He learns that Susan has been murdered in Brussels. The moment he hears this, Robert's expression completely changes, and he immediately leaves for Washington. During the investigation, Robert carefully examines the hotel CCTV footage and the crime scene. He notices two suspicious young men heading toward Susan's floor. Robert instantly suspects that they were involved in the murder. On the other side, those same criminals are hiding somewhere and trying to contact their boss. Suddenly, the phone placed near them explodes violently, killing both of them instantly. Outside, their boss calmly leaves the area with his partner. In reality, they had planted a bomb inside the phone to destroy all evidence. Sometime later, Robert waits for Dave while jogging in a park. The moment Dave sees him, he becomes completely shocked because everyone believed Robert was dead. Only Susan knew that Robert was still alive. Robert tells Dave that the men seen in the CCTV footage went directly to Susan's floor, which means they already knew exactly which room she was staying in. But later those same men died in a mysterious explosion. According to the official report, it was caused by a gas leak, but Robert does not believe it. Showing the post-mortem report, he says that the entire operation looks like the work of a professional. In the next scene, Robert sees Miles putting up wallpaper. Suddenly, some gangsters arrive and forcibly take Miles away with them. Robert secretly follows them all the way to their apartment. There, he quietly knocks out the guards and tells Miles to come back with him. However, Miles refuses. He explains that his brother was murdered, and he joined these criminals because he wants revenge for his brother's death. Robert tries to make him understand that these people are only using him and that if he continues down this path, his future will be destroyed. After a long conversation, Miles reluctantly agrees and returns with Robert. In the next scene, Robert is driving a passenger to the airport. But during the ride, the man's behavior and strange conversation make Robert suspicious. Robert intentionally changes the route, and the passenger immediately attacks him after noticing it. A dangerous fight breaks out inside the moving car. While driving at high speed, Robert repeatedly strikes the man with elbows and punches. When the attacker pulls out a gun and tries to shoot him, Robert quickly takes the weapon away and kills him with it. Afterward, Robert extracts secret information from the man's phone and burns the car along with the dead body so no evidence remains behind. Later, Robert takes the phone to Dave's house. Dave is there with his family. Robert explains that someone tried to kill him and that the phone belonged to the attacker. He asks Dave to extract the data and find out who the phone was connected to. But when Robert calls the last dialed number from that phone, Dave's own phone suddenly starts ringing. At that moment, Robert realizes that Dave is the true mastermind behind all these events. Filled with anger, Robert asks Dave why he did all of this. Dave explains that after Robert's fake death, the government removed all of them from the agency. In order to survive and make money, they eventually turned toward illegal activities. Dave then confesses that Susan was getting close to uncovering the truth, which is why he had her killed. Hearing this confession makes Robert even more furious. Robert tells Dave that if he had not chosen this dark path, he might have forgiven him. But Dave not only betrayed him, he also murdered Susan, Robert's closest friend. The movie continues with Robert warning Dave that now there is no way he can escape from him. Dave quickly leaves the place by taking a ride from his wife, while Robert also leaves to track him down. In the next scene, Brian is shown feeling extremely emotional while looking at Susan's dress. Brian was actually Susan's husband, and he was completely broken after hearing about her death. But suddenly, Dave's men break into Brian's house. What they don't know is that Robert is already there. Robert quietly takes Brian out through the back exit and tells him that his life is in danger. The people who killed Susan now want to kill him too. Robert safely sends Brian to another location. On the other side, Miles is working late at night painting the walls, just like Robert asked him to do. Robert calls him and tells him that there is some food waiting for him in the fridge. But then Miles notices dogs barking loudly outside. Robert immediately becomes alert and asks him to check who is outside. Miles casually says that it might be the pizza delivery guy. But a few moments later, he messages Robert saying that someone is trying to break into the apartment. Robert is able to watch everything through the apartment's CCTV cameras. These were actually Dave's men who came there to kill Robert. Robert quickly tells Miles not to panic and instructs him to pull out a specific book from the bookshelf and press the hidden button behind it. A secret room opens, and Robert tells Miles to hide there immediately. Miles hides inside the secret room, but after some time he starts having trouble breathing. Dave's men are getting closer to finding him. At that moment, Robert calls Dave and tells him where they can meet. As Dave's men start leaving, Miles mistakenly thinks the danger is over. He comes out of the secret room, but Dave's men immediately capture him at gunpoint and kidnap him. Now the movie moves toward its final action sequence. Robert heads toward an old coastal town that had already been evacuated because of an incoming storm. The entire place looks abandoned, dark, and terrifying, while powerful winds are blowing everywhere. Dave and his team also arrive there with Miles. They spread out across the town searching for Robert. Dave climbs up a tower to keep an eye on the entire area from above. After some time, one of Dave's men notices the door of a shop open and walks inside. But Robert is already waiting for him there. Robert quickly kills him before he even gets a chance to react. The remaining criminals become confused because they cannot understand where Robert is attacking them from. The entire town feels like a deadly trap prepared specially for them. Using the darkness to his advantage, Robert attacks another man from behind and brutally kills him with knives. Then he takes down another criminal during an intense fight. Now only Dave and one last partner remain alive. They panic and try to escape, but Robert keeps hunting them down. During the final confrontation, Dave takes Miles hostage and threatens Robert by saying that if he does not stop, Miles will die. Robert calmly distracts Dave and ruins his attack with perfect timing. After that, a brutal hand-to-hand fight begins between them. During the fight, Robert corners Dave at the top of the tower. Dave desperately tries to survive, but Robert finally throws him off the tower. Dave falls straight to the ground and dies instantly. As the storm slowly begins to calm down, Robert goes downstairs and frees Miles. Miles had been shot in the leg, so Robert takes him to his old house and treats his injuries. There, Miles notices Robert's old army photos and medals. That is when he realizes how dangerous and legendary Robert truly was. Sometime later, the building garden has been completely restored and looks more beautiful than before. Miles has also changed into a hardworking and honest person. In the final scene of the movie, Robert stands quietly outside his old house near the ocean, looking toward the waves as if he has finally settled the score with his past. And with that, the movie comes to an end.